in my email, I can find it, and then I can copy everything in.
Wheel of names.
Where is Adrian? Adrian, can you text me the list? And if anybody else shows up, just add it to me in the text. Elise, can you let us know if they can hear us?
Drawing site.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm going to keep moving on. Thank you so much, everybody. Now, brief reminder. We got a lot of different people in the room. Anyone that you would want to meet, hopefully, is going to be met at one of these networking events. So real quick, stand up if you're wearing a red tag. Anyone with red want to raise their hand or stand up?
Please,
awesome.
Yes.
So these are your service providers. These are really important. These are people like your realtors, contractors, property management, things like that. You need a deep Rolodex of these, especially contractors. All right, thank you. Yellow, do we have anyone with a yellow tag in the room tonight? Yes.
I do both. I wholesale.
All right, well, how do you want, go ahead, stand up, why not?
Yes.
All right, deal provider, all right. So if anybody's looking for another deal, we got a deal provider in the room. All right, who provides money? Anyone providing money in the room? Stand up.
Stand up.
We've got some lenders. Excellent. All right, do we have anyone looking to expand their portfolio, either a buyer or a flipper? Yeah, come on, up. That should be everyone, right? And down. All right, and then we have obviously our connectors up front. Again, just to remind you what a connector is, our job is to help put you in relationship with whoever it is you're looking to find. They might not be here tonight, but I go to a lot of these. It's not just the one I host. I attend all of them, and I attend the Cash Flow Breakfast Club and all the places. So if you are looking to find someone and you didn't meet them here tonight, tell me. I will put you in relationship with the people you're looking for. And then, of course, all of our beginners. Let's give a hand for our beginners who are here today. My dad raises his hand, yeah. That's not true. Your first house was a seller finance deal. You are not a beginner, sir.
Wow. That's cool.
All right. A little bit of introduction for realtors. I'm sorry, we are realtors. For our leaders up here, who are we, why do we run this group, and how can you connect with us? Connect with us by talking to us before you leave tonight. I'm Daniel. A little bit about me I already said, so I think I should hand this over to Matt, let him talk a little bit about himself this time.
Hopefully this will work. Audio doing okay? Good. So yeah, my name is Matt Magel. I'm a DC native, one of the few non-transient folks in the area. Born and raised in DC, grew up in Burke, live in Gainesville, Virginia now. Love Gainesville, Virginia. It's kind of where my business is based out of. I run this group because I really believe in the power of real estate investing to help people determine their own future. I was having a great conversation with my buddy Greg here in the front, and he's getting into the real estate investing space, and he's like, I'm just looking for more freedom, right? I think everyone's kind of looking for more freedom, more choices, more options, less have to do and more get to do. And so that's why I run this group. I believe in it. What I personally want out of this group is I'm looking to grow my real estate team. So this URL down here, joincaza.com, if you happen to be a real estate agent looking for an environment where you can accomplish whatever your wildest dreams are. If you know somebody who's a real estate agent that's really talented, but maybe they haven't found the right opportunity, please let them know about us. We're looking to grow. And then the other thing I'm looking for is I'm really looking to network with business owners, ideally small business owners, in the western Prince William County area. You know, Manassas, Gainesville, Bristow, Haymarket. I really love connecting with those people, helping add value to their business. They tend to be a great source for me, both from an investment standpoint and as an agent standpoint. So if you happen to be a business owner in this area, I'd love to meet with you afterwards and exchange information and stay connected. So that's who I am and what I'm about. Awesome.
All righty. I want to take a second to thank some of our sponsors. We've got Kaza Construction, Home Pro Property Management, Kaza, the brokerage, right, the real estate services, Sell Simply, which is a wholesaling company, more or less, and Simply Funded, which is hard money. So if anyone's looking for any of those services, reach out. I can put you in contact.
And if I can just double click on this, this is, and I'm gonna, if y'all hear me okay if I just project? Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks. we're looking for additional sponsors, right? We're looking to grow this community. You guys are going to hopefully play a part in that, and we'll talk about the benefit, how everybody wins as these communities continue to grow and expand. But if you are somebody who wants to, at some point, partner with us, let's chat about that as well in terms of like having a space to talk, at every meeting about what you bring to the table, or have us kind of share a little bit about you and your business. It's something we'll be doing as time goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things we'd like to do is anytime we have a representative from these attend, they get their 15 seconds up here to kind of talk about how they can help.
Yeah.
All right. So what is GRID? GRID is a global real estate community built for investors, by investors. As I mentioned, we are not gurus. We're a group of real people doing real deals. Our mission is to connect, learn from, and collaborate with like-minded people interested in building wealth and creating impact through real estate. We welcome investors of all experience levels, and we are lifelong learners and believe that everyone has value to share. So let's get started. Why invest in real estate? Why not stocks? Why not bonds? Why this? Well, we like to say that real estate is an ideal investment, which is an acronym, stands for income, right? Everyone loves cash flow. Depreciation. As you start building that portfolio, you're going to want to have a way to offset your tax burden. Equity, by paying down the loan. Appreciation, because we all know inflation is always an issue, in this country at least. And so having a way to benefit from the inflation is helpful. And of course, leverage, using other people's money. But what do you really want? You want to win by getting your passive income to exceed your household expenses. Who here has read Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Show of hands. All right, good, hands down. Now, who here thinks that that book had an impact on you? Show of hands. Yeah, common, right? If you've ever listened to the Bigger Pockets podcast and they ask the question about what book would you recommend, what is a consistent name that gets put out there? Robert Kiyosaki, every time. So let's talk about this for a second. Your goal is to go from employee to a business owner and to go from self-employed to an investor, right? Employees have the game stacked against them. It's just true. There's a lot of things that are not in their favor in our tax code. And this is where most people spend their lives. They trade their time and skills for money, and they may have a bit more security by letting someone else run the business, but if you don't work, you don't get paid. And when you don't get paid, you pay the most in taxes. Self-employed is a little better. You can be the boss, and you can make more money, but you're definitely working. I was listening to Pace Morby. Raise your hand. Anyone here heard of Pace Morby? Yeah. I was listening to him on the drive over here today, and he said, if you work a 40-hour week, you're lazy. Because you try to be a business owner, 40 hours is not a hard week, right? You end up working 24/7. And I'm sure some of you here have experienced that. And so the tax benefits are marginally better than the employee status, and it is a bit more scalable. But there's only so much you can do on your own. Eventually, you want to get to being a business owner, right? To own a business, you must be delegating the tasks and responsibilities to others and have systems in place that allow the business to run without you. I mentioned a little bit about my past, how I was in a different industry entirely. I ran my own business. I've actually never worked as an employee, unless you count working for my dad for a few years when I was a teenager. And I've never really understood that mindset, but what I will tell you is that I was wearing a lot of hats. It was really hard running that first business. And so when I made the jump from one industry to the other, I looked for a team. I looked for someone who had a model that was big enough that I could fit my world inside it. And so similarly, if you're going to be building a business, I'd recommend that you build a model big enough to fit other people's dreams inside of it, right? Something where everyone can benefit and grow. And you'll know you'll own a business when you can leave it for a month and earn as much or more income while you were away. And finally, we have the investor category, which is why all of you are in this room, right? You're in here because the business owner owns a business and a system for making money, but the investor owns assets that make money for him or her, right? The game is to take the money you have earned from other work or businesses and then acquire assets that increase in value and create income by themselves. For anyone who is brand new to this and you don't even own where you live, maybe start there. It might be the low-hanging fruit. So that instead of sending all that money to make one of us rich in rent, you could at least pocket that in your own equity.
Let me stay on this for just a second, if we will. This is familiar to a lot of us in the room that have read Rich Dad, Poor Dad and understand all that. And Dan, you mentioned that we kind of went through it in a 1, 2, 3, 4 type of scenario. And there's lots of paths that people take. You, frankly, outside of it, you started here and are endeavoring both through your last business and in this, your current business, to be into this spot while simultaneously doing that, right? Like, it's not just one path through this process. I'm just kind of curious because I think it's kind of fun to get to know the people that are in the room. Who's been in only one of these quadrants so far in their life? Raise your hand if it's just been any one, but it's just been one quadrant. Couple folks, all of my daughters, you need to raise your hand. You only one. Who have been in two of these quadrants in your life and your career? Raise your hands, if you will. Who have been in three of these quadrants in your life? Anybody in all four of these quadrants at some point in your life?
If you count working for my dad.
If you count working for your dad, right? So there's the big difference, and I think that this is something that's not particularly on the slide, but you guys remember from the book, is there's the active side and then there's kind of the passive side. I don't know that necessarily business ownership, though it did say to be in a business you can walk away for a month and make the same amount of money or better as a business owner, owning the business as opposed to purely working in the business. But there's benefits and detriments to every one of these quadrants, right? But the goal is, as you tend to move further and further to the right, you have more options, more flexibility. But hey, are there investors who've lost a ton of stinking money and if not all their money? Yeah, it's not like only one is the right place to be. But it tends to be a bit burn-out-ish. It's a great word, right?
Yeah, I love it.
To stay in this alone, right? At some point in your life, you try to say, okay, what else can I do? Even if you're killing it and making a ton of money, it's like, what else can I kind of do? So it's just a good framework for people to kind of think of like where they're at, where they want to be, what they've done. Doing multiple at the same time, can be done. It's just a little bit difficult. So anyway, pick your path and then go after. Yeah.
One of the wealthiest people I met was actually in the E quadrant, right, and in the I quadrant. So he was an employee for the federal government for like 30 years, and he just kept buying rentals in Clarendon. And so he owned over 150 properties in downtown Clarendon, apartment buildings, all the rest. And I met him when I was like 27, 28 years old, and he was owner financing everything by this point. He owned everything free and clear. Mm-hmm. And I was like, how did you do this? And he was like, one property at a time, over like a 30, 40-year career, right? And so you don't need to leave that, right? And especially if you think about it, you work for the federal government, so you probably only work like 20 hours a week.
So, shots fired.
Yeah, I'm joking. But somehow he was able to amass that portfolio, right? So I don't want people to think they need to leave that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. What work? Know thyself, right? Dave Zimmerman's in the back. He and I are constantly telling people when talking about real estate, like, know yourself, right? If this guy had a great setup, you don't have somebody necessarily convince you that you need to leave if what you got's working and it works for you. But you have to understand the pros and cons of each one of these things, as kind of Dan was alluding to. So thank you. Go ahead.
Awesome. So where are you in this quadrant, and where do you want to be?
Oh, dang,
I think the answer is
skip that slide. Right? That was exactly what I did. Anyway,
if you want to go from actively working for money to earning passive income, you must learn to become an investor, which is why we're here. But you shouldn't go it alone. You'll need agents, lenders, property managers, contractors, attorneys, financial, blah, 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 blah. It's a long list. Matter of fact, I think the number one thing you should do before you leave here today is set a goal of making 50 friends through networking, which also is why we did this color code, because you should diversify, right? You don't want all 50 lenders, right? You should have contractors in your Rolodex. You should have property managers in your Rolodex. You should be diversified. You should have a lot of different friends who you can call when you have a different opportunity knocking.
It's really I'm a gigantic NFL football fan. I happen to root for one of the worst teams in the history. I'm a DC native, anyway. I'll leave it alone. But really, the idea is that you're only as good as the team you have, right?
Yeah.
Like building a rock star team of money guys to cleaning ladies. Like the whole thing matters to your ability to invest and make money in real estate. So evaluate your team, what you have, and maybe what you lack, and use environments like this to fill in the gaps. I am constantly top grading my team. I have a fantastic cleaning lady, but if I find a better cleaning lady, I'm adding her to my team. I've got a really great loan officer. If I find a better loan officer, I'm adding them to my team. Because I'm not, I'm loyal, but there's a business that we're running where you've got to be constantly providing value for me to remain in business with you. So I'm encouraging you guys as you're going on this journey, and as you're on this journey, evaluate your team, find the weak spots, use environments like this to fill in those gaps, and I think it'll really help you kind of go where you want to go.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. The reason why I joined a team is because I wanted to cut my learning curve as much as possible, right?
Yeah.
You could learn everything and do it all yourself, right? YouTube University, you could learn it all. Do you have the next 50 years to remake the wheel, or do you just want to get in relationship with people and have a team? All right, let's talk about why come to Grid, right? Grid is a networking platform, but it's also a wealth building journey. We have a calendar set up specifically to help take someone who is brand new and guide you through the process. And you may understand how to find a deal or how to find money. You may understand how to negotiate a deal, right? But there's a serendipity to being in a room with other individuals, right? There are deals that get made because you were in the right place at the right time. You had the right friendship, so they came to you first with the opportunity, right? I said make 50 friends, but start with one. Go deep as opposed to wide, right? Once you have a firm relationship with someone, then move on to the next person, right? Go have a coffee afterwards,
Yeah.
right? But here's our journey, right? I break it up into a couple stages. First, we have no excuses. Let's get rid of some of the excuses, right? Investing 101, the first excuse is you don't have to go it alone. You can build a team. Anything that you don't know, you can have a partner who knows it, right? Second step is finding deals. A lot of people say, well, I can't find a deal, I can't find a deal. Well, then explain everyone else's getting deals done, right? How is it everyone else is getting deals done? Do they just know something you don't know? Maybe. But the deals are out there, so we're going to show you how to find deals. Finding money, that should never be an excuse. There's always money for a good deal. There's a lot of people out here who want to lend you money. So we go through knocking down those first. Then we talk about getting your first deal. And the common objections we usually find there is that they don't know how to estimate reno, or they don't know how to negotiate the deal. They're worried that they're going to set the appointment and fumble the ball. All right, so we're going to walk you through how to handle both of those. Finally, we move into two different ways of making money in real estate. We have transactional wealth and we have residual wealth. They're both good, only one of them's investing. We start with transactional wealth, right? The low-hanging fruit. How to wholesale, how to flip. This is money that is today money. With flipping, it's kind of like tomorrow money. 6 months from now money. But with residual wealth, this is your retirement. This is what you leave to your kids, right? So we go down into the fourth piece of this year, and we teach you how to BRRRR, covering long-term rental strategies. We also go into boosting your returns with short and medium-term rentals. And we go into house hacking after that, because if you still haven't taken action by the time we get to October, I would implore you to at least do a house hack if you're brand new. It's the easiest thing. I can show you how to do it. There's a lot of people in here who can show you how to do it. And then finally, we move into generational wealth. One of the biggest things stopping people from getting generational wealth is the taxes. Let's be real. Like when you consider how much it might cost you if you're not paying attention to what your CPA is doing, it's going to be more than your housing bill, more than your car bill, more than a lot of things. So we got to master your tax and legal setup. And we also have to go into business planning in December, right? Get ready for the next year. So that's our plan. That's our wealth building journey. And you're not just coming to hear us talk because, frankly, no one comes for the lectures, right? They come for the networking. But when you show up, there's going to be other like-minded people in the room. And I would also encourage you to think, who can I help? If you are a contractor, the one that stands out the most to me as a good time to show up and find people who need your help would be estimating reno. There's going to be a lot of people at that who will need your help if you're a contractor who can give good estimates. So think to yourself, who can I help? And then put that one especially high on your calendar for importance, because that's where you're going to find the partners where you can make a deal happen.
Before we go on, I'd just like to see, we've chatted for a bit here, any questions on anything that we kind of like talked about, anything, maybe a thought that you guys had, like, it's true what they said, but they forgot to add this thing on, just looking for a little bit of a conversation. Anything, you guys have questions or anything you'd add?
Can you find deals in the DMV?
Yes.
It's a good question. Depends on what you're looking for, but yes, you can find deals in the DMV. Dan has been particularly effective at using a large part of his time in business and helping people find deals in the DMV. Somebody asks you, can you find deals in the DMV, Dan? What do you say?
Yes. I mean, you just pull up the statistics. I don't have it in front of me, but I could pull it up and we could look up how many absentee owner deals happened, right? How many cash transactions happened, right? We can find the data. There are people doing deals. There's a lot.
Who's done a deal in the last 30 days in the room?
Yeah. Anyone done a deal in the last 30 days in the room?
Right. How'd you find
What was your, yeah.
It was in Maryland.
Okay, well, that's right.
Was it a flip?
That's DMV.
It was wholesale.
A wholesale deal? That's right, okay. I remember you mentioned that.
That's awesome.
How-
How'd you find it?
Well, I do my marketing, so you gotta have different marketing campaigns. For instance, right now we're doing PPC, and actually we're doing a lot of agent outreach. And most of them, especially the agents, they need help. You know, getting these deals on a contract. They might not have the skills to get it on the contract because of whatever reason. So, you know, myself and my partner are devoted on doing that. So, you know, the lead came from an agent. You know, in this case, the agent gets double the commission because they get to represent the seller, and they can represent us as well. So there's a benefit to that. So it was pretty straightforward. So that's not what that much.
Yeah.
You raise your hand? You do deal in the last 30 days?
Pre-foreclosure.
Pre-foreclosure deal.
Yeah.
Creative finance or?
No, it was pre-foreclosure, needed $50,000 worth of work. We put in the 50 in 30 days. We ended up making 50,000, right?
Geographic?
You hear the episode on Bigger Pockets?
Ah,
Yeah,
yes. What is that, Front Royal area?
No, that was Sterling.
Sterling. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah.
Sterling.
Anybody else have a deal they did recently? Okay. Any questions? Any other? We'll move on.
I
but-
helped someone just recently get a duplex down in Fredericksburg that needed a lot of rental, so he could house hack the other side of it. Deals are everywhere. There's people doing them constantly. Depending upon what you're doing, we're going to need to connect you with the right partners. But don't have the mindset that it's not happening because there's people all around you doing it.
Explain what a house hack is, because I think that's a very good 101 to break. I know you
Yeah.
can do it, but just tell everybody the concept.
A house hack is a really good starting point for someone who's new because the intention is to rent out either rooms, separate units if it's a small multifamily like a duplex, or even your basement. And by renting it out, you are offsetting your housing cost. The reason why that's such an important starting point for people who are new to this and who are willing to take the step to do that is because your savings rate is oftentimes a mental barrier where if you don't have enough set aside for emergencies, you're too scared to take action. Even though, frankly, there's ways of doing deals where you don't have to put any of your own money in at all. But the point is, that can be a mental block. And so by changing your savings rate, where suddenly your housing bill is either severely reduced or gone, now you feel like there's liquidity there and you're more willing to take action.
Funny, the house that I live in currently is like a pretty nice 6,000 square foot property in Gainesville and beautiful, interior and all that stuff. But when we bought it, it was going to be a big jump in payment from where we were at before, except the previous owner was house hacking. She had a tenant in the basement paying $1,300 or something like that a month. I'm like, oh, well, hold a second. We're going to buy it. We're going to keep your renter. She's like, yeah, keep my renter. He's awesome. And so we moved in, me and a family of 5. Well, me and a family of 4 or 5. Anyway, and we had a tenant in our basement that came with the house for like 14 months.
And Beth said, goodbye.
Crazy enough, I tried to increase the rent by $50, and he's like, I'm moving to California. I'm like, figure that out. Okay, gotcha. You moved to California for cheaper rent. But anyway, so, and then we got the basement back ourselves and all as well. But it did, to your point, help me make the leap. I was like, by buying this house, I was increasing my monthly payment by like $1,150, but I was renting it for $1,300. I'm like, I'm net 150 positive on buying this house. Now I don't get my basement, but okay, cool, we'll make that. And then eventually evolved. It was okay to have him leave. So yes, house hacking, it can be done in a myriad of different ways.
All right, I promise to try to keep us on track here. We've
Yeah.
got about 5 more minutes scheduled for
Good.
us to talk before everyone needs to talk to each other more.
Please.
All right, what are the next steps? You can connect with us all kinds of different ways. You'll get a bunch of emails from us that have those ways of reaching out to us. And of course, you can get our contact information before you leave.
I have one question, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You guys saw the calendar. Flip back to the calendar just real quick.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, is there any topic that you don't see on here that you would
yeah, I wanna
also
know that.
like to have covered? Because one of the cool things that we're gonna be doing, it is not gonna be just Dan and I up here every month talking with you guys. We're planning on bringing in some really amazing local, outside the local area, investors who are doing dynamic things in like each one of these categories. So you don't necessarily hear from us, you hear from people who are doing way more from us in these different areas. So this calendar might be set for the year, and we can always maybe add something to it if there's something like, hey, Matt, I'm really here to learn about blank. Can you make sure you bring in an expert at, is there anything that you guys would say you'd also want to make sure we add it to? And this is a little small if you guys can't read it, but
Yeah,
anything you
hands
wanna
up or
add?
yell it out. Is there something in particular you'd like to learn?
Managing short-term rentals?
Short-term rentals we
rentals.
do have in September.
Yep.
You have to come back. Patience is a virtue. Creative financing.
Creative
okay.
finance,
Do we
that's
have
going to
that
be in
somewhere?
March.
In Find the Money?
Yep.
Cool, so we'll hit that.
Yep. Gonna
That's
cover all
great.
the different ways to create your capital stack. The money does
And
not
by the way,
come from you.
my wife and I, we do have a short-term rental that we manage. I'm happy to chat with you about it afterwards, of course.
Yeah. And our hard money partner actually has a DSCR loan product that is really cool, Simply Funded, that I want to quickly highlight. Usually when you're using a DSCR loan, which if those of you who don't know, that is a debt service coverage ratio loan. Usually when you have a loan like that, they can only use long-term rent in order to qualify you. She has a product now where they can qualify you based on AirDNA's estimate. Really? So if you don't, so the people who know what I just said, that's a big deal, right? So let me know, I'll put you in contact.
So any great short-term rentals, creative finance, yeah.
How about vetting a tenant, finding a tenant and where to advertise?
That's great. Yeah,
Yep, that's going to be in Burr.
I want to make sure that we might not remember to specifically talk about tenant issues, but if you just help, we got
I will.
a lazy recording. Like,
Because
let's make
I'm
sure we
bringing,
hit that.
I'm going to be getting some property managers to come join and speak on that topic, because that's the first time out of the year where we're covering tenant selection and the importance, because the investment is not the dirt, it's not the bricks and mortar. Bricks and mortar don't pay rent. Okay, it's the tenant.
Yeah.
Right? Every step of the decision on your buy and hold journey, for those of you who want to buy and hold, it's all about the avatar of your perfect tenant. The tenant pays the money. Again, you don't make money alone in a closet. You make money with people.
And if you promise to come back in August, I'll tell you everything I know about it this afternoon, because my wife and I, we've done a ton of thinking, stuff like that from our long-term rentals. And there is definitely some secrets and some things to avoid. So happy to chat afterwards as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is bird dogging a thing, or is bird dogging just something you?
A bird dog,
Mailman to do?
it can be. Bird dogging is a strategy that is like low-hanging fruit for someone who wants to get into the business. You find a partner, someone wearing blue name tag, right? The blue name tag person is going to be one of the people who can probably help you with this. That's going to be your end buyer. You talk to your end buyer, right? Because anytime you open a business, you talk to the customer first, right? You make sure someone's going to buy your product, right? You talk to that person, ask them what kind of property do they want, what does it look like, and then once you have that information, the bird dog's job is just go set an appointment. They could drive for dollars to build the list, they could knock on the doors in order to get the appointment set, and then they bring the blue name tag in, the end buyer, to help close that deal. Then you get a finder's fee. That's a bird dog, right? A bird dog is something anyone here could do, right? But Adrian over there, who's 17 years old, I could teach him to bird dog, right? This is someone who's hungry and who wants the quickest, easiest first step into the world.
Good.
And then you get it there faster with a partner.
Yeah, topic or
No, actually,
thought? No?
Okay.
Any other topics? Any other thoughts? All right. Thanks for letting me go back and do that.
All right, I said all this.
Yep.
This is not working. But basically, we have a grid podcast. Rob Chavez is the one on the podcast, and he interviews all kinds of great people. By the way, who here listens to Bigger Pockets? Show of hands. Who here knows that Rob is on Bigger Pockets? He's got several episodes with them, right? Who remembers the Deal Deep Dive? It's a way of every time they bring a guest on to the Bigger Pockets podcast, they go through the deal in depth. That is something that I want to break down with our local investors here. So Matt mentioned that we're going to be bringing people in for each of these topics, sometimes more than one person for the topic, if it feels necessary, such as we have a midterm rental property manager and a short-term rental property manager, each to be able to kind of give their 2 cents. And we're going to have them actually dissect some of their deals so we can go deeper on what their topic is. Any other questions, ahas, or insights before we wrap up the portion where we're talking?
I want to say something.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, because I have to talk.
Do it, Rob.
What you guys need to understand is that this investment group is actually built for you guys. So this is your group. The bigger this group becomes, the more opportunity there is for everybody in this group. When a group is actually, think about it, 50, 100, 150 people in the room, what do you think happens? Deals happen, partnerships happen, marriages happen, right? So what I want to do is encourage you guys to bring an investor to the next one. Because what happens is, during the collective energy, you guys will actually start seeing like this room grow to 50 people, 75 people, 100 people. We run locations all over the country now. And I find like our Knoxville location absolutely kills it. There's 100 to 100 plus people every single meeting. And the reason is because they believe in what you're talking about, connecting. They connect lots of people. If you have a deal that you want to share, you share the deal in your like 30-second elevator. Hey, I got a deal, I want to share the deal, right? This is all about collaboration, not competition. You're going to learn from people in the room, but really it's the database and the relationships in the room that actually really matter. Like you said it really, really well, Daniel. Right?
Thanks, Rob.
That is the key to all of it.
Yep.
But I would encourage all of you to the next event, like bring a friend, just like you did, right? Bring a friend, invite a friend. Because what will happen is this will be your community here locally, and it'll be like 100, 150 people. And then you guys are just, at that point, just doing deals with each other. Here's the thing I don't want you to do, though. I don't want you to come here, learn something, and then just go back home and say, oh, that was cool. What you need to do is you need to put people that you meet into your database. Everybody have a database in here? Do you know what a database is? Okay? Everybody needs a CRM. Like your number one step as an investor is you need a CRM, which means you meet somebody in this room, and then you're going to put them into your CRM.
Yep.
That's how deals actually get done. People are always asking, how do you find a deal? It's about being consistent with your marketing message over and over and over and over again. So a lot of what they're going to show you over the course of this year is not only how to invest, but how to run a business. Because you have guys here that have run now, you know, Matt's been running with Beth, this business for 15 years? With partner?
Nope, 2016, so we're at 8 as partner, but in the business for 15.
15 years, right? Running a business isn't easy. Like being completely 100% self-employed is not easy. And it is incredibly rewarding when you actually learn how to build a business that you can walk away from for 30, 60, 70 days. Now here's what I will end with this, right? One of the things that I love about real estate assets and investing in assets is that it does its job. You buy a property and it does its job every single day, 24/7, right? 365 days a year. When you run a business, one of the things that makes business so difficult is that the environment's always changing. You know what I'm saying? Like AI can come out and all of a sudden start replacing in your business or changing your business. If you buy a great rental property, like your first rental property in Gainesville, right? That cheese will never get moved, right? Rents aren't going to go down all of a sudden by like $300 or $400. Like you bought a stable asset in a great area that's appreciating in value, and it does its job. It provides shelter to that family every single day and the exchanges, they pay you rent. And over time, that asset gets paid down, and the value of that asset comes up. It is incredible, right? So one of the conversations that Zach and I were having was, in 2008, when I was driving out here from Reston to Manassas, I remember driving through here in 2008, and single-family houses were for sale for $90,000. So that's who remembers that, right?
Jeez.
Like, you could buy a single-family house here for $90,000, $100,000, $110,000. They were like a dime a dozen. And that year, I bought one a month. I'd buy one house a month. And that portfolio is now paid for free and clear. And I was like, I got lucky. But it will happen again, maybe in your lifetime. Something will happen, right? Or there's other strategies, like one of the things up here, creative financing. Buying properties subject to the existing financing, which means like you can buy a property that has a 3% loan on it. And you're like, okay, well, how do I do that? Well, you got to come back for creative finance class and learn. Like this past year, we bought 8 properties that all have sub 4% mortgages on them. And they're 10, 15 years into the amortization schedule. So every time a payment gets made, more than 50% is going straight towards equity. It's like, you understand, like, you're printing money at that point. And that's what's so cool about an environment like this. Like, you can learn these things, and it unlocks how you think about building wealth, right? So this is your environment, right? This is your community. I would encourage you just to invite as many people as you possibly can, and make it so that this is standing room only. My hope is that, Daniel, you're gonna have to find a new location in like 3 months.
Yeah.
Right?
And we can move the tables out and just do theater seating to get this even twice as large before we have to move.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But that's the vision that I want to paint, because that's what it's like in other parts around the country. Right? So, thanks, guys.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Next month, we're doing how to find deals. We'd like to give a platform to local investors. So who do you know that would like to be our next speaker? Or who do you know that would benefit from attending?
How to find deals is the topic. Is there anybody here that's like, would be willing to just shout out somebody that you know, that's not yourself, though if it's yourself, come and talk to us afterwards, but that you know, shouting somebody out that's like really great at finding deals. Anybody got somebody in mind? Whom? Oh, Daniel Nice, got it.
Thank you.
Cool. If you do, just in general, you can get in contact with us. I'd love to exchange information. We're just always trying to grow our own network, like Rob was just talking about. So if you got somebody who's really good at long-term rentals, or they're fantastic at short-term management, or whatever it might be, like, we want to meet those people too, because we might bring them in here and share with everybody. If you stumble across somebody who's really added value to you, let us know. We might want to have them come and talk. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. And also, don't forget the benefit of who do you know that would benefit from attending. I was working with someone last year who was a tenant client, and turns out they had millions of dollars in their bank account. I never would have expected that, and they ended up buying instead. You don't know what's going on in the secret lives of the people around you, right? So be loud, talk about what you're into, give voice to your goals, let the world and the universe know about it, and you'll be surprised who reaches out. All right, we're going to do a giveaway. We've got a Bigger Pockets book that we want to give out.
So we are going to be doing this on a monthly basis while Dan's pulling up his.
What's the link? Did you send
I emailed
it
it to you. Yep.
All right, you emailed it.
We bought, I think it was
Appear to
11
be
or 12 different Bigger Pockets books. For those of you who have listened to the podcast and are familiar with that brand, so every month we're going to be doing a drawing, a random drawing for one of the Bigger Pockets books, and I think we're going to be kind of giving them away in a sequence that somewhat matches up with our subjects that we're going to be talking about. The way that your name is entered into the drawing is, first of all, by attending. So all of you guys, we got your names. We're going to put it into this random name picker, and one of you is going to walk away with this evening. And then secondly, if you invite somebody, so Natalie, did anybody encourage their friend to come tonight that like is here, but you brought somebody, like Natalie brought Zach, we happen to know that. Did anybody else bring a friend that say, you guys both came, did one of you encourage the other one, like, you got to come with me? Who is the promoter? You're the promoter? Good. So we want to make sure maybe if we don't have your name in there twice, we want to put your name in there twice. Additionally, we're going to keep this list. So once you win a book, yes, we will take your name out for that particular winning raffle ticket, let's say. But we're going to keep this list for next month. You'll have, if you come back, you're going to have your name in here twice, so to speak. And if you bring somebody, you're going to get your name put in here for every time that you bring somebody. Once you win, we'll just take your name out one time. So it's just kind of like a fun way. However, the one caveat is you do have to be here to win. We are not shipping books. We want to hand it to you, maybe even take our picture with you if you would be so kind. So almost working?
Yeah, I'm just a little slow.
Oh, is it because you pasted and it's just taking a while to pop in?
Well, I tried that. I think I'm going to have to actually...
How long of a list was it?
It's not that long. I just need a second to copy it.
Oh, but it's also going to have to be putting entered in here. Who typed this to you?
No, that's okay. I'm good.
Oh, good. Oh, look at you. You're Speedy Gonzalez. All right, sorry, guys. Let me just 1 second. Let's give this away. Oh, good. Well done. All right. Let's connect it again.
Oh,
whoa,
wait.
whoa, whoa.
Can't spin it yet. Jump the gun.
Yeah, don't plug it in yet. Just do it over. Let's start over.
Yeah, I know.
All right, good. Can't close. Yeah. All right. And then, as soon as we're done with this, Dan, anything else, or we're going to let people get back to the food and network?
Oh, we're gonna be sending them off to network after this.
Right. Is this?
As soon as we get this connected.
All right. This is my favorite random drawing thing. Let's see. Ileana Grayson, you're one person on here. It's all good. We're working out kinks. Chris, is that?
Booze, not boot.
Chris
Booze.
Yay, let's go.
Chris a hand. Woo!
Thank you for coming out. Appreciate it. Booze?
All right.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, you're the guy to go to for after party. I got it. All right, cool.
All right. So thank you for winning our prize tonight. And remember, you get your name added every time you attend and anytime you refer someone. And then last thing I want to touch on before we let you go is the investor intros. We want to give you an opportunity to be spotlighted in our community and any of our social medias. So if you have an elevator pitch that you would like to go out and you're trying to meet a particular person, right? If you have a need that you would like our community to come help solve, we'd be happy to take a video of you talking about that, and then we will post your pitch.
It'll be out here, correct?
Yeah, my wife, wherever she is, if she would raise her hand, she will take the video.
Elise will take the video. Be bold, 30 seconds. Who are you? Who can you help? What are you looking for? Elevator pitch like you got practice at your table today. And then we will be like syndicating that amongst the community so people can oh, who is the guy that did the thing? And help you guys get connected. Rob?
I think you might want to highlight deals, people that do deals in the room.
Okay.
Oh, for sure.
One of the things that we do, right, is that, you might want to talk about the Deal of the Year award that we give out.
Yeah, we do a deal of the year every year. But on top of that, I'm actually going to be, the reason why I mentioned at the head of this, that what I'm looking for is more wholesalers. I'm trying to highlight a deal not just the investor who comes in to speak on the topic, but if there are any wholesalers or deal providers of any stripe that have something that they want to shop, they have opportunities, I would like to give them the floor every meeting. That way, every time you come to one of these meetings, there's going to be deals available that you could possibly strike and get done in the room.
So bring your deals that you are that you're looking to sell or whatever, or a flip that you're doing that you know you're going to end up selling or whatever. Bring them because we are going to be highlighting the work that you guys are doing and getting the word out. Is that? And we have a
Mauricio,
format.
do you happen to have anything you want to talk about?
May have one coming up in Sterling.
You may have one. All right, so if you guys need something in Sterling, let's talk to Mauricio.
So.
All right. Quick networking tips. Make a bunch of friends. Find partners who complement your skills. Use the name tags to help diversify your network. Connect outside of this room. Add value to each person you meet. What does this person need? Make it your homework to solve someone's problem. Monetize with precision. Identify 2 potential collaborators. Discuss specific projects and time frames. Go, go, go. I'm done talking. Have a good night. Eat the food, please. I can't take it home with me.
Thank you. Good, do it.